A small plastic container changed the way millions of women spent their evenings, offering fun, freedom, and even a little bit of power, all from the comfort of their living rooms. Before we start, go ahead and get comfortable. If you like stories like this, leave a comment to let me know you're listening. I read every one. And if this helps you relax, unwind, or fall asleep, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. You take one last look in the mirror, pat your hair, adjust your collar, and step out into the thick evening air. The sun is setting, but it's still warm. The cicadas hum in the trees, and somewhere down the block, a sprinkler ticks across a perfect green lawn. You're nervous. You don't go out much. Not without your husband, not without the kids. But your neighbor said it would be fun. Just women, just snacks, just a little get-together to see something new. When you step into your neighbor's house, the first thing you smell is coffee and hairspray. The furniture is cozy but neat. Floral patterned upholstery, polished wood side tables, and a lamp with a pleated shade that casts a soft amber glow over everything. Framed family photos line the mantel, and there's a bowl of peppermints near the door. A crocheted doily sits under a vase of artificial flowers. The room smells faintly like lemon polish. Most of the women are wearing soft cotton day dresses or circle skirts. Something a little nicer than usual, but still comfortable. Hair is pinned, lipstick is fresh, and someone's wearing just enough perfume to make the air smell faintly like lilacs. There's music playing quietly from the radio. Dinah Shore, maybe. You hear a laugh from the kitchen. Someone hands you a cup of instant coffee with powdered creamer, though a few women are sipping white wine from mismatched glasses, just enough to feel relaxed. You catch someone passing a little bottle of sherry across the room, quietly, like a shared secret. It's sweet and strong, something their mothers drank too, a fortified wine that once fueled old holiday toasts and now lingers in moments like this. And suddenly, it feels like a party. Back at home, your husband is reading the paper with his feet up, the kids finally in bed after a long day. The television is on low. Not that he's really watching. He knows where you are, and that is just a party. But part of him is still surprised you went. It's one of the few nights you haven't done the dishes or tucked the kids in. One of the first times you've left after dinner without needing a reason. And he didn't say no. He just looked up from his chair and nodded. That was enough. Everyone gathers around the table. The woman leading the party, a friend of your neighbor's, and what they call a Tupperware consultant, taps a pink bowl with her fingernail. She doesn't work for a store. She works for herself, sort of. Tupperware doesn't sit on shelves at the grocery. It's sold at home by women to other women at parties just like this one. That's how it spreads. One lid at a time, one laugh at a time, one sale at a time. This is the future, she says, smiling. Plastic you can't break. She starts opening lids with a little pop, one after the other. The sound is oddly satisfying. She passes them around so everyone can touch them, bend them slightly, feel how light they are. You hear someone murmur, "It feels like a balloon," but stronger. She explains that Tupperware is made from a new kind of plastic, polyethylene. It was first developed during World War II, used in radar equipment and wiring because it was lightweight, durable, and didn't corrode. Back then, it helped keep planes in the air and ships on course. Now, it's in your hands, soft, flexible, and quietly revolutionary. Everyone leans in a little closer. She picks up another container, this one mint green, and explains that the colors are part of the magic. The first Tupperware was plain and clear, but people wanted something cheerful, something pretty. Now they came in soft pastels, pale pink, butter yellow, seafoam, robin's egg blue. The colour wasn't just for looks. It made each bowl feel like a choice, something you could match to your kitchen or your mood. It made leftovers feel a little more glamorous. They don't look quite like the ones you see today. These have thicker walls, softer curves, a kind of matte glow that catches the light just right. They feel like something between science and style, which is exactly what they are. She shows how the lids seal with a gentle press and a twist. No more wax paper, no more string. You can flip it upside down and nothing spills, she says, confidently turning a container over in her hands. A few women gasp. One laughs. You could take soup in this, someone says, to a picnic. And suddenly, plastic isn't just plastic. It's possibility. It's leftovers that don't spoil. It's a casserole that doesn't leak. It's a bit more time, a bit more ease, a bit more freedom in the kitchen. And tonight, it's also a reason to laugh with your friends and feel proud of what you might sell, or buy, or carry home in your arms. She starts giving examples. Cold potato salad, lime jello, chicken casserole, deviled eggs, carrot sticks, last night's meatloaf, even just a sandwich you didn't finish, tucked away for your husband's lunch. You don't have to throw it away anymore, she says. You don't have to waste. There's a murmur of agreement, not just because it saves money, but because it feels nice to care for things, to keep something fresh, to open the icebox and see a row of matching containers, stacked like little pastel promises that dinner won't be stressful tomorrow. As the demo winds down and the women start picking up containers and chatting more freely, you feel a little out of place, but not in a bad way. Just like you're seeing something that was always there, and you're only now noticing it. You didn't expect to enjoy yourself, but you did. You like listening to women talk about something that wasn't chores or husbands. You like hearing someone explain how she's making a little money from doing this on weekends. You like having coffee and sitting down without folding laundry in your lap. At one point during the party, the woman leading the demonstration starts explaining how selling Tupperware works. It's not just about hosting a party. It's about becoming a consultant yourself. You don't need a storefront. You don't need a degree. You don't even need to leave your neighborhood. All you need is a table, a set of containers, and a few women willing to gather around and listen. She explains how it works. For every party you host, you keep a percentage. You earn more the more you sell. You get prizes, jewelry, small appliances, even vacations, if you build a team or hit your sales goals. It's all tracked in little booklets with glossy photos and neat charts. Someone asks how much she made last month. She doesn't say the exact number, just gives a quiet smile. Enough to fix the washing machine and buy myself a real lipstick. That gets a laugh. You can see a few of the women sitting up a little straighter. For women who don't have jobs outside the home, or who aren't supposed to, this is something different. It's a little income, a little pride, a reason to put on a nice dress and feel capable in a room full of people. Some do it for the money, some do it for the company, some do it just to feel good at something again. And it works. Tupperware spreads across the country in kitchens and church basements, in apartment buildings and farmhouses. Not because it's in stores, but because it's in hands, passed from woman to woman, like a secret, or a smile. The coffee has gone cold. Someone brought cake, and there are only crumbs left on the plate now. A few women are still chatting near the table, lids popping and clicking as they try them one more time before deciding. You're sitting on the edge of the couch, cup in hand, listening to two women talk about how nice it is to get out of the house. Just for a little while. Just to be around people who understand what a long day looks like. Someone starts gathering the containers into their original boxes. Another woman offers to host the next party. Her house is bigger, she says, and she's got the good coffee. No one rushes to leave. There's no reason to. It's not late, but it feels like a full evening, like something important happened, even if you can't quite put your finger on it. As you help fold up the chairs, you realize you haven't thought about the laundry or the dishes or the tomorrow morning list in over an hour. It feels nice. For a long time, nightlife meant something else entirely. Jazz clubs, dances, dates, bars, concerts. And for most women, those things weren't part of the picture. Not in the suburbs, not with young kids, not when your name was on the PTA list and the casserole was still warm. But nights like this, nights with folding chairs and matching bowls and women laughing around a coffee table, they became something new, not a replacement for freedom, but a version of it. Tupperware parties weren't just product demos. They were permission. They were community. They were the beginning of something subtle and soft, but still powerful. Women making space for each other outside the daytime routine. And they didn't stop. They turned into craft nights, book clubs, bunco groups, quiet backyard hangouts with bug spray and laughter that didn't need to be hushed. This was just the beginning, and it happened right there in your neighbor's living room. It didn't stay just Tupperware. The idea caught on. Not just the selling, but the gathering. Soon other kinds of parties followed. Candle parties, jewelry parties, home decor and kitchenware, clothes and cosmetics. You'd get a little catalogue, maybe a free sample, and a chance to see your friends, to sit in someone else's house and just be. Book clubs formed around the same structure. Snacks, stories, voices in a circle. And later, there were support groups, sewing circles, wine nights. Sometimes they were about something. Sometimes they were about nothing. But always, they were about showing up, together. That rhythm, women setting aside time for other women, became its own kind of social institution. One that rarely made the news, but quietly, across suburbs and cities and cul-de-sacs, it kept happening. Somewhere, probably even tonight, someone is setting out chairs and coffee mugs. Someone else is slicing cake. And a room is filling with stories again. Tupperware wasn't just clever design. It was clever structure. Brownie Wise, the woman who made the party model famous, knew that women didn't just want to be sold to. They wanted to talk. They wanted to be heard. She turned that idea into a business model. She trained women to become organizers, hosts, mentors. She rewarded their work with trophies and recognition and cash bonuses. Not behind a desk, but in their own homes during evenings like this one. The company's success came from listening to what women actually wanted. Time with each other, a little income, and something to call their own. You didn't need to change your whole life. That wasn't the goal. You just needed to go out once a week, or once a month. You needed to sit in a warm room with other women who understood what a long day felt like. You needed to talk about something other than dinner and socks. Maybe you sold a few bowls. Maybe you bought one. Maybe you just listened. And somehow, that little shift, that gathering after dark, felt like getting a piece of yourself back. Even as the world changed, the need didn't. Through the 60s and 70s, women started working more outside the home, more careers, more independence. But the nighttime gatherings didn't disappear. They just adapted. Tupperware gave way to other kinds of meetings, but the structure remained. a circle of women, a shared focus, and a reason to keep in touch. Even now you might see it in yoga classes, group chats, wine nights, or backyard potlucks. The format is different, but the spirit is the same. Years later, you'll be sorting through a box in the garage and come across one of those old pastel bowls. The lid might be a little loose, the color slightly faded, but when you hold it in your hands, it'll feel familiar. You'll remember the way it popped shut, the sound of chairs scraping across linoleum, the smell of powdered coffee and lemon polish, the way you laughed just once, louder than you meant to. And you'll remember that it wasn't just a bowl. It was a night you chose to leave the house. You didn't change the world that night, but something changed for you. It was small, quiet, folded inside a moment no one else would remember, but it stayed with you. The feeling of being seen, of being allowed, of choosing to go and being glad you did. That's how most change begins, not with a big moment, but with someone stepping outside, just once, to sit in a room with other people and finding something waiting for them there. Maybe you'll listen to this and forget most of the details. That's okay. But if it made you feel warm for a moment, or reminded you of someone, then it did its job. Good night.